come to flows with respect to channel, you have these types of flows. You have the physical flow, you have the title flow, you have the payment flow, you have the information flow, and then you have the promotion flow. Promotion standing for advertising, personal selling, sales promotion, and publicity. You can look at all this in a different context also. Why should we have a middleman? If you look at large organizations, a middleman is required for the following reasons. One is large resources, financial resources are required for direct marketing. This was the case of General Motors itself. It was toying with the idea of removing the middleman. They found it very, very difficult to do that. Even such a big company like General Motors makes use of this middleman. They say yes, they are required for effective marketing. Direct marketing requires producers to become middlemen for complementary products or other producers. For example, let us say you are a gum producer. A gum producer, he may have to become direct marketer for a company which is making, let us say, erasers or pencils. So along with the gums, you are becoming the direct marketer for the other producers also. Now the other important consideration which organizations give before they say we will dispense with the middleman is, suppose I get into this middleman's activity, what is the return on investment? Suppose I concentrate on the other aspects of the organization, business, and what is the return on investment which I am going to get? Organizations have found that return on investment may be higher in other aspects of business. Fourth reason which organizations give is, all said and done, is middlemen are superior in execution compared to themselves. So it is a superior efficiency of middlemen which is coming into play, which organizations would like to take advantage of. Traditional marketing system, if you look at it, it can be a vertical marketing system where you have the producers, wholesaler, retailers as a unified system. It can be looked upon as a corporate system, an administered system, or a contractual system. What is the difference between this corporate system? In the corporate system, most of these are regular members of the organization, even in the administered system, but in the contractual system may not be regular members of the organization. In contrast to this, you can look at a horizontal marketing system where two or more companies join together to exploit a common marketing opportunity. So this is what you are seeing in the present day Indian market. Many companies join. Even a company like Reliance tying up with so many other companies. So when Reliance in the 80s came out with this brand name of Vimal with respect to their garments, they almost trounced all the middle and small size textile mills operating from Gujarat. They almost went out of business. Large number of them. So in order to survive, what did they do? They joined hands together to provide competition to Vimal. The result was a very strong competition brand to Vimal in the name of Gordon. So the Gordon garments are as good as Vimal, but coming to the market at a lower price. So the Gordon gave these smaller and middle size textile units, particularly in Gujarat, the visibility which they thought they had lost due to Vimal coming into the marketplace. Vimal, when it came into the marketplace, it said, I'm going to provide you the men's garments, the women's garments, and also the children's garments, all under one roof. Whereas many of these many of these other mills, they were catering to individual segments. Some of them were in saris, some of them were children's garments. So when it came under the brand umbrella of Gordon provided different product lines also. Look at saris and also garments for younger segments of the market, especially with respect to girls and females. So all these types of things, sustained garden in the marketplace and a very strong advertising, not making use of the big names which Vimal used. So used common folks in garden advertising, but the garden advertisement proved to be very catchy compared to the Vimal's one. The result is this trouncing of the small and medium size units, the textile units, got stopped because of all these units coming together. Many times when you are having a channel, there can be conflict. There can also be competition. When does it come in? It comes when you don't have goal compatibility. Goal incompatibility can create channel conflict. And rules are not clear, so you should clearly specify the rules with respect to each channel member. If it is not clear, then you are getting into conflict with the member. Similarly, the differences in perception and the greater interdependence. If you have greater interdependence between the channel members, again there will be a problem. So this greater interdependence should be reduced as far as possible. When you are taking a decision on a channel, you should look at some of the characteristics which are essential. One is the customer characteristic. Second is the product characteristic. Third is the middleman characteristics. Fourth is the competitors characteristics. Fifth is the company characteristics. Sixth is the environmental characteristics. In other words, when you are designing a channel, you should look at all these aspects, that is customer, product, middleman, competitor, company characteristics and environmental characteristics before saying that I will go in for this particular channel. Okay. Now the efficiency of a middleman can be brought out in a simple diagram which is given, which is produced here, where what I am giving here is three producers. So how this middleman affects an economy of effort? If you see, let us say there are three producing units attached to each P here. So there are three consuming units. What is going to happen? The number of contacts which you are going to make with these three will be 3 into 3, 9. Note that there are three producing units and three consuming units, and each producing unit has three units producing under them. They contact the consumer. So the number of contacts which are made to the market, that is consumer representing the market, it will be P into C, that is 3 into 3. Now into this thing you throw a middleman. You introduce a middleman. What happens? All the three of each P becomes 1 because all of them will contact the middleman. So 1P will be at 1, 1P will be at 2, 1P will be at 3. So what you are trying to do is, instead of P producers or products making contact with this thing, you are the consumer. What you are trying to do is all the three of P bracketed under 1, bracketed under 2, bracketed under 3, they are directly going to the middleman, saying that these are the products from these units which are coming in. What does the middleman do? He establishes contact with the consumer. He goes to 4, 5 and 6. Now what is the type of contacts he is going to give? He is going to give T plus C, 3 plus 3, which is 6. So what did you achieve by putting a middleman into this whole system? Instead of this multiplicative number of contacts, you made the system to get into additive number of contacts. So instead of 9, it became 3 plus 3, the middleman virtually taking control of the market, the distribution side for you, and saying, I will approach the consumer. You don't bother. Don't individually keep on approaching. So it gives an economy of effort, and it also speaks to you on the efficacy of the middleman. Okay, we will stop here. We'll continue in the next class.